Hello, friends. I'm here to talk about my journey towards financial independence. 7 years ago, I set a goal for myself that within 10 years, I will be financially independent and retired early. And every year, annually, I will make a video like this so that when I'm finally retired and financially independent, I can look back on these videos and see how I started, what I went through, and how I achieved my goal. So, keeping that in mind, I thought I'd review the process and maybe talk about a few tools and see how have I progressed so far. So to begin with, it was an act of desperation. 7 years ago, and till that time, I had grown to be quite desperate. Desperate to not live from paycheck to paycheck, to not live in fear. What happens if I lose my job? What happens if there is a medical emergency? And not seeing a path to success, or not seeing a path towards freedom from all worries. So it really started in desperation, and that led me to seek guidance and knowledge, of course. And thanks to the internet, I came across a lot of renowned, famous people who had achieved financial independence, who had set themselves up as financial gurus, and who had written books on how to be rich, wealthy, and achieve your goals. And in my search, I came across F.I.R.E, Financially Independent Retiring Early, and that provided some hope, a glimmer of hope, that there are people who have started broke and have finally achieved financial independence. So that little hope made me start on this journey for myself. And this desperation and this seeking knowledge, it goes hand in hand. I was always coming from a feeling of desperation, and I was always looking for knowledge. And at the same time, what happened was, and this is very important, I learned to say no. I started saying no to a lot of things. If someone invited me to go to a movie and then dinner and drinks, I've been doing it all my life, right? Waiting on friends to come up with a plan to go out, get drunk, go somewhere nice for the weekend, spend a lot of money. That's how we've all been living. But when I decided that I am on the path towards financial independence, I started saying no. If someone asked me out for a movie, I said no. And if someone asked me out for dinner and drinks, I said no. And not just to people, but to myself. If I wanted to buy that really expensive branded shoes, I said no. And what was playing in my mind was that why would I spend so much money on something that was fleeting? And therein I started to look at peace versus pleasure. And in saying no, and of course that desperation was always at the back of my mind, and this process of, this journey towards financial independence, and me saying no to a lot of things, made me realize the difference between the peace of mind and pleasure. And of course, it's always good, it's fun to go out, spend some money, have a lot of fun, spend a lot of time with your friends, with the people you love, on experiences and everything. But after all that, come back to a lousy job, to a lousy life, and, oh God, it's Monday, thank God it's Friday. It's just not sustainable. So, few things that were key for me to start on this journey was A, desperation. 2, knowledge and guidance available on the internet. 3, learning to say no. And 4, learning to distinguish between peace and pleasure. And then, as time went on, I started seeing some progress, little progress, but that little progress gave me so much hope. For motivation, I still do. I watch the Dave Ramsey show. I love when Dave harps on or emphasizes on the dangers of taking on debt, which I never had debt because I was too poor to be given a loan to. So never really qualified for any loan. I did start using credit cards, but I used them only in case of emergencies. And once I came across Dave Ramsey, I cut it up, built up an emergency fund, and that did come in handy every time. And the emergency fund is still there, but and that gives me a lot of peace. It gives me so much peace of mind knowing that, okay, this fund is here. If something happens, God forbid, I'll be able to take care of it. Be it the car breaking down, some medical emergency or something, right? So that fund is there. So you see, these tools have become really, really handy and are very important. The other person I discovered for myself was J.L. Collins. And this guy, he's done the research of the stock market for the last 100 years. And what he has been able to conclude is that no one over a sustained period of time has been able to exceed the returns given by an index. And that simplifies a lot of things. Like, I don't have to read literature on what a company is doing, what are their prospects, how much debt do they carry, what's their debt to earnings ratio, PE ratio, all that. For the last 100 years, we've seen that an index was beating all other mutual funds, all other individual stock returns. And how much more simple can it be? Just keep investing in the index fund and watch your money grow. And that's exactly what I did. Because I was saying no to a lot of things, I was distinguishing between peace and pleasure. I was saving a little money. And that little money I started investing in mutual funds. That's how I started. And the other thing that I did was budgeting. So I downloaded a budgeting app on my phone and started tracking every penny that I spent. I still do. And if nothing else, it helps me understand where is my money going, what am I doing with it. And to be able to look at your expenditure and the expenditure items, it again helps you, qualify or understand if you're really wasting money or are you really getting the worth for your money. For example, I do not compromise on anything related to health or my peace of mind, right? So my parents and I, we have the best of foods, top quality products, and we're very particular about the healthcare. I don't mind spending any amount of money on staying healthy, which is again a great peace of mind, right? So this budgeting really helps. It helps me track my expenditure, it helps me track my savings, and it lets me know where do I stand each month, every day, and over a period of time. The other part is motivation. So the motivation is all around. All we have to do is just open our eyes. There are people like Paula Punt, Mr. Money Mustache, Dave Ramsey, J.L. Collins, and others who you keep listening to or reading to. You get that motivation to stay on that path towards success. So yeah, learning to say no, desperation, learning to say no, peace versus pleasure, staying motivated, budgeting, index fund. These are some of the basics that if we implement, we can, be on this journey and start seeing results really soon. So this is today 7 years completed, and as of today I have achieved financial security. So if I were to retire today, I'll be able to pay all my bills, I'll be able to put food on the table, and without any worries, live a simple, sober life. And that's a huge, huge relief. Oh my God. I remember in one of the podcasts, Paula Pan, she had mentioned, or she had emphasized on how peaceful it can feel to know that you're financially secure as of today. It changes your attitude towards your job, towards people in general, and it's just, it just does away with that fear, that constant fear, that anxiety, right? So that's awesome. That's huge. I do not panic anymore. I mean, we all do sometimes, but what happens is that I panic and then I am back to normal pretty soon, like really quickly, right? Same with feeling angry. Anger is nothing but fear, right? So over these 7 years, I have become a more calm, peaceful individual. I don't easily lose my temper, and I was loud, triggering on every little thing, ready to shout, pick up fights, get into arguments, whatnot, right? I just stepped away, and I'm just watching it all happen. I'm like behind the camera now. And the other part of motivation is, if you look around and you see people working their ass off at the age of 50, 60, 70, with that inner desperation, looking for a break, right? That's just so disheartening. My heart goes out to them, and I want to hold them by the shoulders and really shake them up and say, fuck, change your ways, man. I want to do that to the young people that I see around. Don't buy a new car and start paying monthly payments. It just doesn't make sense. It's just momentary pleasure. You can buy a used car. It's just as good. If it's a Mercedes or if it's not, it's gonna take you here from here. Every vehicle is gonna do that. Yeah, I mean, I see people wasting money, putting everything on, monthly payments, going on vacations, taking a loan to go out on vacations. So at the hospital, at the time of checking out, there is a queue of people, standing there or sitting in line to settle their bills. And what are they waiting for? They're waiting for that final approval from their insurance provider to say, okay, your hospital bill is approved and the insurance will take care of it, right? It takes hours, arguments. What arguments? But this should be approved. Hey, we approved this much amount for a hospital bed, but that you occupied a premium version. We do not pay for that premium version. I go in, I settle the bill in 5 minutes. I pay the bill using my debit card and I get out. Yeah, and similar situations, right? On the road, someone scratches your car. It's an accident, but you lose your mind. Why? Because you're paying out of your teeth for that car. And when you're not paying out of your teeth for your car, just dust it off and you're on your way. So I really want people to understand the difference between peace and pleasure. I don't want us to be always running after pleasure. It's depleting, it's fleeting anyway, right? And for that momentary pleasure, we've destroyed our peace of mind. We've destroyed our lives. So it is kind of motivating to see everyone run around like a hamster on a wheel. Run, and then finally heart attack and die. I don't want to live like that. So I have some way to go. Like, I'm not I cannot retire today. Why? Because even though I can pay my bills, I'm financially secure, but I want to, create a buffer, a cushion, so that I can, pursue a little more, a little bit of pleasure in my life, and, also not to worry at all because I have this cushion to fall back on. So if all goes well, maybe in 2-3 years more, I will finally retire and I would have achieved my financial independence. One last thing I want to mention is spirituality, God. I think if you have God on your side, it really helps. It gives you some strength. It gives you a lot of strength. And trust me, all this is not easy. Saying no to your loved ones, saying no to your friends, saying no to yourself, and thinking, what will people say? Or, am I missing out on all this? And it's not easy. And because you have this long-term goal in mind, and because you're able to distinguish between peace and pleasure, you're able to analyze situations a little more properly, and you don't go poking your nose in everything, and you stay out of it most of the time, right? So all this is not easy. Learning to control your emotions, your fear, all this is not easy. And it really, really helps if you have God on your side. So I've been able to come up with the theory, or this is what I've observed. Let's say someone is born in a rich family, wealthy family, right? At this level. But they're an asshole. They haven't learned their ways. Life will slowly bring them down. Even though they started on a pinnacle, they'll end up really bad. And similarly, if, let's suppose, someone was born in poverty at this level, but they were doing all the hard work, they had their head on their shoulders, life will, slowly raise their level of living, their happiness. Right? So you can say it's life who's going to do that. You can say it's God who's going to do that. And honestly, when you seek God's guidance, you do get a lot of strength. And when I started, it was like, God, I want to be a millionaire. And it seemed as if God was saying, okay, can you save money? I'm like, yeah, but millionaire, $1 million? No, I can't. Then God said, can you save a little? Like, yeah, I can save a little. If I had said, no, I cannot even save little, then God would be like, how the hell am I going to make you a millionaire? So I said, yes, I can save a little. Now that little each month has grown to where it is at today, and I'm financially secure. I can live off my investments, pay my bills, put food on the table, and live a good life. Better than most people we know, right? Not owing anything to anyone is again a great satisfaction. So I would recommend to you to start today. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time to start is today. It's going to change you as a person. No anxieties, no fear, no obligations, no pleasing anyone. And you become free, independent. Yeah. So on that note, I'll end the video. Till next year, on the progress I've made towards my financial independence. I'll see you next time. Bye.